airplanes, everything. We have continued to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host English News every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the master craftsman on the global earth. Together, the name of Wolfers stands for as a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to the show. Today with me is a friend of mine, is a friend of the community who I came to know not very long, however, I respect. You know, when you talk about how much you know people, you really talk about how much you touch base with him at the bottom of his heart. I know this gentleman, Mr. Peter Amundson, from my last show that was 3 weeks ago, I believe. 3 weeks ago, with my friend Mark Ang on the issue of the gold medal pursued for the Asian American, namely Chinese American veterans who fought during World War II, who are, of course, by aging, if you calculate the years, are dying out. It's almost a rescue efforts, and this gentleman Peter, joined the fight. And he and my friend Mark and a bunch of their fellow comrades went to Congress and urged the president to sign a bill, which was signed into law, and the gold medal is being prepared for those. By that instant, I started to know this person by heart. This person has a generous-minded of love. That I respect a lot. That I respect a lot. I'm not talking about politician, I'm talking about human being, right? So Mr. Peter Amundson is the council member of city of Arcadia. I love the city. If you know if you know Southern California, looking for best cities, probably the first popped up is Arcadia, right? And he's been on the council for 12 years already, and 4 years added, or altogether 12 years.
12 years already, and I'm running for another 4 years, so it's 12 years already.
Very good. So, all right. So here's a veteran council member.
Yes.
All right, got you. All right. Now, with that said, welcome to the show.
Yes, sir.
All right. With respect, I would like to start this show. The whole thing of today is talking about you.
Me.
Right.
Okay.
Why you think you deserve another 4 years.
Okay.
And for the coming 4 years, what have you prepared for? And speaking of seniority, your background though, how much you know about Arcadia, right?
Yes.
It's people, it's land, it's money, it's economy, it's everything. So while we can start, well, any area, any category. Right?
Okay.
So first, why don't we start with all the 12 years that you've been in the service? How much do you know Arcadia?
Well, Jack, great question. You know, I probably need to go back even further than that. You know, I was born and raised in Arcadia. I was born at the Arcadia.
Oh.
I'm one of the few people. I was born in the Arcadia Methodist Hospital. Like I'm like a charter member. So I pretty much lived most of my life there. I stayed there. I went to local schools. I raised my children there, and my service to the community goes back beyond or before when I was city council, because I always see youth as our greatest asset. And I spent about 20 years, actually since I was about 20 years old almost, for the last 40 years, our 40s before, and I've worked with the youth of our community.
So you're not a helicopter landed in Arcadia.
No,
You're a native grown Acadia.
I am very rare that way.
Call you Arcadians.
Arcadian, yes.
All right.
But you know, one thing I can relate to is that Arcadia is a great community, and the same thing that brought my parents to Arcadia are the same things that are the great aspects that bring people now from all over the world to Arcadia. The times have changed, the people have changed, but the great community of Arcadia has changed somewhat, but the aspects and the magnet that brings people to Arcadia has not changed. So, you know, Arcadia is a great place. It's always been a very safe community. You know, we pride ourselves, even with all the aspects that are going on. It's hard as Sacramento has made it hard with Prop 47, Prop 57, AB 109. Arcadia is still one of the safest communities, and that's something that my parents thought was important, and I feel is important.
Yeah.
We have great services. You know, it's something that people expect from Arcadia, that there's a higher level of service that we provide our community.
All right.
And the other thing is our great schools.
Okay. Very, very. Pretty much the best place to live.
Right.
On the global Earth. Right.
It is, and twice while I've been on the council, Arcadia has been voted the best place to raise a family in California.
And lots of my rich friends live in Arcadia, and I wish someday I can join them. But you know, with that, with a reputation of such as an Arcadia, though, to be a council member of Arcadia, you think that you have a higher requirement on your shoulders, yeah?
Yes, I do. I've been involved in the community, you know, as I say, for the last 40 years.
I see.
A lot of very broad community support. I know my town. I call it a town because it still has a town feel.
My town is the word.
Right.
My town.
My town.
Speaking of quote unquote my town, though, how much do you know my town?
Okay.
Your town, right? For example, well, how big is the population?
You know, we haven't got the last census in yet, but we're about 58, 59,000 people.
That's the 2010 census?
Yes. It inches up a little bit, but the last figure I've seen is somewhere between 58 and 59,000.
I see. And I know that the city is very diverse.
It's very diverse.
Right? And what is roughly, what is the ethnic breaks?
Well, it's roughly, you know, about 59% Asian now.
59% Asian.
And that's the last census.
That's 2010.
Right,
Once again.
right.
Maybe still more.
It probably is more. There is. It's constantly changing.
All right. And white?
White, I think it's about 26%, 28%. You know, once again, it's fluctuating.
I see. I see. All right,
And then there's, you know, there are other ethnic mixes also, but that's.
I see. And median by median family income, by median house price.
You know that it's last you know, I think it's about 1.1 million, something right in there. I don't hold me on that because I actually hadn't really prepared for that question, but I know it's a broad range because there are a few homes below that, and then but there's, you know, multi.
I know that you don't want to flaunt your wealth.
No, we don't, and we are actually trying to get more economical homes, but it's really hard. But you know, then it goes up from there. You know, a 3. You know, the home price escalates from there.
I see. Okay. Well, talking about Arcadia, you always notice about its safety.
Yes.
Right. I have been living here in Southern California for almost 40 years. I've never, maybe seldom, hear anything about, crimes, huge crimes and stuff. Of course, here and there something happens, right? but relatively, it's a safe city, isn't it?
It is a safe city, but we've had all our challenges. Unfortunately, we had a newspaper article came out quite a few years ago, calling us the Asian Beverly Hills. And since then, our crime has jumped. And Sacramento early release, and they're as I said, AB 4757, AB 109, 4757, AB 109, where they've made it harder on us to keep our community safe. But it's something that we have taken very, very seriously. In fact, I think the most important job of a local government is to keep its people safe. So we went to our chief. We have our police chief is kind of looked at as a local leader in law enforcement. A few years ago, I met with some local mayors, city managers, police chiefs.
All right, let's stop right there for this segment, though, because when you talk about the notorious AB 109, though, nobody doesn't have a complaint, right? Because every city is kind of very, very, very highly affected by that, and I just want to know how you guys deal with it.
How we deal with it?
So we'll take a short moment out. When we come back, we'll pick it up right there. I believe lots of folks are concerned about, in such an environment with the AB 109 hitting the street everywhere, how are we going to keep ourselves safe, right? We'll be right back.
Le bijou icône Philippe Wolfers qui date de 1902. Il faut la regarder contre la lumière pour avoir toutes les couleurs de ce bijou qui est extraordinaire. Avec les opales, c'est un thème très à la mode, à la période Art Nouveau. On voit en argenterie, mais aussi en peinture. Et ça a à voir aussi quelque chose un peu symbolique. Une libellule, c'est très belle quand on la voit de loin, mais quand on l'approche, c'est comme un dragon en anglais. On dit un dragonfly.
C'est une des grandes figures de l'Art Nouveau. Et cette pièce, mieux que n'importe quelle autre, témoigne de sa virtuosité. L'opulence, le raffinement, les courbes et les couleurs, et puis le thème aussi, qui raconte une époque. Libellule a été réinterprétée, plus légère, mais c'est bien à son aïeul qu'elle fait référence, une pièce désormais accessible à tous, puisqu'elle est passée de la boutique au musée.
Paul James,
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome back to the show. With me today is a dear friend of mine, Mr. Peter Amundson. He is the current council member of Arcadia, beautiful city Arcadia. Been there on the service for 12 years already, and now ready to serve for another 4-year term. And of course, normally in a show like this, when I promote somebody, I always play hardballs with them by asking how much you know about your own city. It's land, it's money, it's people, it's police department, most importantly, right? Speaking of police department though, versus the situation when every city, everywhere is hit by the notorious AB 109, how do you handle yours?
Okay. Well, we've taken a no-nonsense approach to it. We've gone to our chief and said, what tools do you need? Because this is serious. This is a primary responsibility. We take it seriously. And we've done very proactive enforcement. We authorized a lot of overtime. We actually, our chief and our police force is very proactive on it.
How big is your PD?
Well, Jack, it varies a little bit, but we have roughly about 102. It depends how, we have cadets that don't count as a full officer and all that, but we have, I think it's like 68 sworn officers, and I think it's about 35 civilian, and they work together. And that does not include our 2 police dogs. So.
All right, that's not bad. That's not bad. That we talk about an average of 1 per 1,000.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
So you're probably quite better off by looking at the numbers. You have a total population of less than 60,000.
Yes.
And you have over 100, so you're much better off. That's why you're safe.
Yes. Well, that's the whole force. But yes, we are. But it's between the officers and civilians and all that. But yes. So
And of course.
And it's police and fire are the largest
And
portion
once
of our budget.
again, the public safety is a joint effort. It's not only a police job,
Right.
And it's everybody's effort. You need it all together. As a city council member, how do you see that under your management?
That's the most important thing. One of the most important things to do. There's the phrase, see something, say something, and that's that the police chief and the police force looks at our civilian population, our residents, as the eyes and the ears, because we only have so many officers, but the people are everywhere, and getting the people to be not afraid to call in, because the police, they'd rather have a false alarm than have a crime go unreported. So that's
You're right.
And that's one thing that we've really worked hard on. And it is surprising when I read the police reports every week how many of the crimes have been caught because someone saw something that didn't look right. One thing also we've done as a city, we've done a Ring doorbell subsidy where we budgeted money from the general fund to subsidize people getting the Ring doorbells.
I see.
And that has made an impact also. We have our chief was very proactive, and we've last year he wanted to hit it really, really hard, and we authorized a lot of overtime, and it's sometimes it's so scientific that they catch and I don't know how they do it, but they catch the criminals as they're coming into the city. So any crime is too much, but we've really
In other words, they kind of getting an upper hand of the situation rather
Right.
than chasing underneath.
Right. So
Right.
what we've tried to do is we've tried to harden the target. We also tell the residents, don't allow yourself to become a victim. There's things you can do to not become a victim. So, as I say, the effects on city government by Sacramento has made crime so it actually pays.
You're
but
right,
what we've
you're
tried to do is harden the target of Arcadia. So, unfortunately, they go somewhere that's an easier target, which I feel bad for our neighbors. But,
All right.
we as a city, we want to make Arcadia safe.
Yeah. I mean, the logic is so simple that nobody would choose somewhere that is unsafe to live.
Right.
Because we all have families, we all have kids. Well, speaking of kids, though,
Yes.
you mentioned the special efforts about your education, about your schools.
Yes.
As a city council member for that many years or more than a decade, and what's your efforts in that area? I mean, education.
Education, and it's a little bit confusing in some way because some people think that school board and the city council are together. Rather than spend that money in that, why don't you spend it on books? But one of my main efforts these last 4 years has been collaboration with the school board. Yesterday I spoke at a PTA meeting. Our superintendent has a theme, Better Together. And his theme is Better Together is thinking about the schools. But I say, no, it's better together for a whole city, because people look to us as a city. They come to us for all the things that is Arcadia. Not just the schools, not just the safety, not just the safe streets.
You're right.
It's one city. And we have great collaboration today, better than I've ever seen. And I was at that lunch yesterday, and it's great how we work together. We share notes. For one example, we met together and we were sharing notes, and we go, the school district, you seem to have a better outreach to the Asian community, to reaching. How much do you translate? How do you do it? And so we share notes back and forth. Educate. We support each other. It hasn't always been that way. There've been two different silos, but we're one city because it is what makes us great. When people view, a few years ago, 2 years ago, Arcadia was voted the most business-friendly city in Los Angeles County. And the radio media called me And he goes, "Why did you win this award?" And I told him, "Well, we've transitioned from redevelopment to public open market. My goal as a businessman at City Hall is to tell staff to get to a yes." And he goes, "Yes, I know all that, but Arcadia is so much more. You won that award because everything you are as a community, the education, the safety, and all that." So it does all, the school board and city, yes, we have different functions, but we all work together for the betterment of our community.
Yeah. What you have done, I mean, is in the public eye.
Right.
Right? And the public eye are the judges. They give you whatever. So, I mean, that's why lots of people rush in to the city. I know Arcadia a lot because my son went to Arcadia High.
Oh, really?
And my son is right now still kind of like cherish his days at Arcadia High. And he's very close with some teachers at Arcadia High, and he is running one of the very top computer companies in the United States. And he still give credit to Arcadia High.
Great to hear.
So one of his teacher, Mr. Proud, Mr. Proud. I believe Mr. Proud is still there, right? So anyway, to have a good school, to have a good system, to have a good understanding of the overall city towards education is the second key to safety.
Yes.
Do you think so?
I do. We were looking at some budget crisis, a year ago, and I asked the chief. I asked him. I mean, should we, and since close down the library or shut down the library to give more?
Oh no, don't do that.
We didn't do that. And this is where no. And
Oh,
he
you
said,
didn't do that?
We didn't do that. He said exactly what you said. No,
right.
we need the library. These are all important elements. The children needs go to the library. They educate.
Allow me with this insertion, all right?
Yes.
Library is the only thing that we have left to indicate our civilization.
So, the chief, I expected the chief to say, yeah, but then he goes, no, the library is important. These all are important about the community. They keep the children, give the children the resources that they need. That it all goes apart in keeping our city safe. And so, the library, the police chief views as important to keep our city safe.
You are right. You are absolutely right. Absolutely right. Even though with the fact that with the cell phone, with the computer, everything, people, read the actual book less and less. However, library is not only a storage of books.
Right.
It is somewhere the kids go.
Yes.
Right? Somewhere kids go to get the air, to feel about the academic air, right? That kind of thing. I don't want anything of that nature to go down. Well, I believe that you guys did the right thing.
We did.
So
and that's
you
the chief.
voted not to.
Right.
All right, very good. Good vote. Good vote. My dear friends, my lovely audience, let's take a short moment now. We'll check about safety, we'll check about education, and probably we'll check about lifestyle. All right. All right, good. So we'll be right back.
Everything we have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host this news every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome back to the show, my dear fellow citizens of Southern California. If you're looking for a place to live, though, I recommend, well, I hate to say so, not my city, but Arcadia. All right. With me today is my dear friend, Mr. Peter Amundson. He is the council member of, I would say veteran council member of City of Arcadia. Been there on the service for 12 years already, for a dozen years already, and is still willing to put up at least another 4 years for service because he has the experiences for the past 12 years of working at that position, and he is a businessman himself, right? Altogether, that makes him the kind of prerequisite of continue doing the work. And we check about everything with the previous two segments, the public safety, education. Now we're checking about lifestyle. Talking about lifestyle, though, you have to talk about your business.
Okay.
Without business, you don't have a lifestyle, right? So, if you define the nature of the city, how do you want to do it? Is it an industrial city, a residential city, or commercial city, retail city? What kind of city Arcadia is?
Our theme is community of homes, and so we're mainly a bedroom community, and most of the businesses in Arcadia kind of service the bedroom community. It's we have our mall, the Santa Anita Mall, Westfield Santa Anita Mall.
Oh yeah, speaking of that mall,
Yes.
You have beautiful restaurants there.
Yes, we do.
Oh yeah.
And that's a lot of people. It's become not only just a local magnet, but almost a regional or even international magnet. So there's a lot of fine foods that are there. And
Every time I go there, I eat until I go broke.
Yes, and that's very, very easy to do. I know my wife's favorite restaurants up there, and a lot of people. So, the Westfield Santa Anita is right. It's not only in the middle of our city, but economically, it's also in the middle of our city.
Yeah.
So that.
All right. And the brand name stores.
Yes.
Lots of
Yes.
high-end stores, right? In that city.
It's not the very top, but it's there's Macy's and
Relatively. So another word is a residential city with a high consumability.
Yes, I would say that. We actually last night in the meeting we went over. We have like 7 different business districts in the city. Very few that are industrial. Most of them are. We have the Baldwin district, which is primarily Chinese food restaurants, Asian food restaurants. We have the mall. We have something that I did was help create the new downtown association, which is the old town, which is still coming back. It's kind of been neglected over the years. But all of them are pretty much services the residents. It's there's nothing real. There's very little except for way down south that's industrial. It's all people friendly, family friendly, servicing the communities. That's the major force of our. Now we do also have a Resnick car dealer there, which is service, but it's pretty much serving the.
You're saying business friendly though. I kind of like this term because I've been sticking to this term for quite some time. I checked as a newsman. I checked with several cities. Everybody say business friendly. However, they're not on the same level, right? So sort of friendly, by certain extent friendly though. In your city, if I want to apply to open a business, how many different doors do I have to knock?
Well, this is one thing I brought to the city, and I know it's maybe been there before, but I always tell everybody the goal is to get to a yes. And we have Tim Schwer, who handles our development, and he really gets it. He brings a good mentality that we want you to succeed. We want to make it possible for you to do business in our city. If it's the kind of business that works good with our city, which most of them are small businesses, and though we do have a lot of large development coming in also, but the every once in a while you have to remind the staff, because once again I bring a business point of view to City Hall. Remind them the goal is to get to a yes.
The goal is to get a yes.
That's I keep saying over and over and over. We want to make it happen.
Are you sure? That's very concise. That's very correct. All right, good. I know that you have fire, you have police, you have a zoning, you have planning, you have licensing, all the department. And all I'm asking is that, have you ever thought make your business suppliers to go through one door, get boom, 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 simplify the procedure? Have you ever thought about that, or have you done that already?
Well, they pretty much go to one department right now, and there's always room for improvement. And I go back and I can see I can go back and see it if there's something we can do better. But
of course, there is always room to do better, though. But right now, you're talking about your city has simplified the procedures.
We have.
Right.
We've tried to. I mean, it's been a conscious effort, and that we've tried to make it because we want the business. You know.
Of course.
We want the business. We're still a community of homes, so we're primarily a residential community, but we don't like to see empty buildings.
You know, Peter, one of our problems is that our politicians are kind of not knowing too much about how to do business. If you look at the background of for example, our legislators, about 65% or even 70% of them being lawyers.
Right.
Most of them have never cut a check to employees, so none of them know how to run business. So to run business, to run a city like you run business, because you have a background of businessman, though, you are much better off knowing the city, knowing business, knowing how important that is. Well, how do you want to influence the whole city? You're only one man, right? You don't want to do this one-man job. How do you want to motivate the city into the business-friendly air of style?
All right. Well, it comes by constantly saying it. A lot of constantly reminding them. You know, I've started my business 35 years ago.
35 years.
35 years ago, and my motto was service with integrity, and I tried to bring that to City Hall. You know, we have a couple lawyers, we have a couple people who are retired on the City Council. I'm the only one who's a really active businessman, but I am who I am, and I bring those aspects to City Hall. When I see something, when I hear something, I go, you know, I think we want to serve, you know, because to me, city government is about service, you know, and the resident is in a sense your customer. You're taking care of them, but also we do want to take care of the businesses, and we do, you know, if it's the right business that fits our city, we want to make it happen. We want, and Mr. Schwer has been very proactive in it. A lot of cities had a hard time transitioning from the redevelopment, where you had redevelopment money, and if you didn't have redevelopment money, which was kind of a tax money, you couldn't do it. We made a really great transition to where people now, we have a lot of interest, people wanting to come to Arcadia to business there through our attitude, our business-friendly attitude.
In other words, you're pretty much taking your own advantage of being a businessman yourself and running the city with a business concept, right? And also, you kind of like, I know Arcadia has a very good business background already. With that background, you are kind of encouraging people coming into your city to open up business.
Right.
And for that, the procedure is being simplified.
That's what I'm always pushing for. And that's the angle I come from, because I come from a businessman's angle. And it seems often government tries to get in your way, but government should be help facilitate you.
Very good, very good. And you know, I like your concept of service, servicing people. That's why before you and I started talking, I told my cameraman to pick the word serving the people as the title, because we want to make sure that being a council member is you're just trying to walk in as a servant to serve people, right? Right now, putting all together, you use the knowledge, you use your experiences, everything, and your concept to serve people. But to lots of folks, lots of even my friends who are officials at the city level, they don't regard themselves as a servant. They regard them as authority.
Yeah.
As authority. How do you tell the difference in between, please? That's very important. I really want you to make some point clear at this moment.
I always say I believe in servant leadership, that I'm a servant to the people, that I am their councilman. You know, I never call myself a politician. I am their councilman. I'm there. I love my town, and I'm there for my people. And so I get emails, I get phone calls, I get people coming to me all the time. And that's what I'm there for. I'm there to listen.
And they can even call your cell phone.
Right. But it's just, I like to say I'm a good listener. You know, most people, they want to talk, but I'm a good listener. I listen to what our people say,
Very good.
what they want, and you know, I'm not afraid to call the police chief, the fire chief, the city manager, whatever. And that's one thing that gives me an angle to it. If I'm listening to the people, then I have the access to people to make it happen.
Don't forget one thing, that you're a native born
Yes.
Arcadian.
Yes.
All right, Arcadian grown Arcadian.
Yes.
Right. So you know the land, know the people, know everything. Plus you have the mind of serving, and plus you have the 12 years of servicing, working on that position already. Though, well, I don't see why you not continue servicing, right?
Well, you know, it is service. You know, it takes a toll on me to serve, especially because I have my own business too.
Yeah,
I do
sure.
it because I love my city and I love the people, and it is service. It is
All
a
right,
toil.
Very good. All right, my dear friend, I like the term, the concept of servicing. All right, I know most of them do not even have have much on the per diem, right? So let's
Right.
talk about it. So you're not working for the money,
Right.
working for the purpose of serving. So we'll be right back.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, lovely audiences, my dear brothers and sisters. Welcome back to the East West, that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the master craftsman, number one master craftsman of the global earth. Together, the name of Wolfers stands as a testimony to the spectacular and the share the royal glory. Back to Peter. Peter Amundson is a council member for 12 years. I call him as a veteran council member, servicing people. I like the term. And by the way, he made it a strong point. It is a position of serving. It is not a position of authority. It is no authority at all. And he says that I was born in Arcadia, raised in Arcadia. I started my business 35 years ago in Arcadia, and started my service as a council member in Arcadia. Everything Arcadia, 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 service, and service, right? How much they pay you?
One correction, my business is in the city of industry, though I'm a bit, but so we get about $500 a month. And that's it. It's just
That pays the gasoline? Does it?
Maybe so, maybe so.
Maybe not.
Maybe
not.
then there's some other like medical benefits, but
I believe at this level, nobody works for the money. The
No.
money is just too little to be working for.
when I first ran, I didn't know that there was.
It could be even zero, right?
Right.
Could be even zero. It's the mind of servicing. Of course, having the mind of servicing is only one part of the job. And the other part of the job is a lot of knowledge altogether. Is a businessman knowing business? Is a man who loves the community, who loves the education altogether. All right. So now, with that many business in the city of Arcadia, do you have a shortage of budget?
Well, we have a balanced budget now. We're very important to have a surplus. We have to have a surplus.
Of course.
And that's one thing that I always tell the residents that I use the taxpayers' dollars like it was my own. You know, I question. You know, last night we were talking about something. Can we really afford that? You know, so it's really important to safeguard the residents' hard-earned tax dollars. So I do view myself as kind of like the taxpayer watchdog on that. We maintain a surplus and a.
You do have a balanced budget.
Yes.
And you do have reserve.
Yes, we do.
Good, very good, very good. You know what? To a city, the most dangerous thing is that you have no reserve. I have come across several cities who has no reserve. That's very risky.
It is.
And the taxpayers, you don't want that to happen, though. I know I'm not checking about how much you have. I know you don't want to flaunt your wealth.
Right. Right.
But we can tell citizens of Arcadia that we're safe.
Yes, we are, and we're very proactive. We are looking ways. You know, one thing that's hitting all cities are the PERS, the retirement budget, and we are looking at proactive ways to address the unfunded liability of that. Yeah, we are safe, and thanks, and you know, we're actually looking to the citizens of Arcadia actually voted for a sales tax increase to address the unfunded pension liability. So we are addressing that too. But we also have the reserves where 2011 we had a big windstorm, and we go the streets, we lost like 2,000 trees, whatever like that. But we had the money in the reserves. We go get it cleaned up by Christmas. Our residents deserve that. So we do keep the reserves that are necessary.
Okay, very
for
good.
things.
Speaking of the reserve, though, of course, you also, on the other hand, looking for development of the city, right? There is always a future of going forward, though.
Yes.
What do you have in mind for the, short, medium range, whatever plan for development, please?
Well, the city has a lot of plans. You know, there's we have a lot of plans right in our downtown area right now. We have some that's pretty much where most of the development is happening. We have a couple of years ago we had the Gold Line station come through, and we have a location, a stop in Arcadia, and so we have allowed for mixed use and greater density to use that Gold Line or use the transit areas. So that's where most of our growth is planned, is around that Gold Line station.
And by that, you can use some county money.
There is always money.
There's always money.
We have a project right now going on to upgrade some of the infrastructure around the station. The streets
There's
there.
not a lot of open land left, isn't it?
There's not. The only real open land is the San Anita racetrack.
Oh, the racetrack.
The racetrack.
All right, the racetrack. Okay, but the racetrack is a money maker.
It is an important part of our community. It's a historic part of our community.
Recreation, entertainment, and also a money maker. It's a big one, right?
It's not the money maker it used to be, but it does do some. Now there is some room for development of the parking lot there that I know Santa Anita. It is private property, but you know they have been looking at it a couple different times. I know Rick Caruso wanted to build a mall there a few years ago. So if there's any, but most part everything's going density. We see a lot of projects coming our way, and there's greater density.
Thank you very much. I believe that by now, not only do I know Arcadia, I know that you're ready, right? And last thing I'm going to check with you, probably it's not such a good subject, but it is an eyesore. Instead, I still have to check, right? Do you have homeless problems?
Yes, we do.
You do.
And it's been a growing
thank you
problem.
for being honest. Yes.
Yeah, we do. And it's something that's really been growing. It's, I would say probably 4 or 5 years ago when we had that homeless count, we had 2 or 3. I think when we did the homeless count the other day, we were like 75.
75.
And so it is an issue that we have not been immune to. We did apply, there's Measure H money, which is a homeless initiative money. We do have starting like last week or so, we have a homeless agent who works, we share them with South Pasadena to actually get those who want help some help. But it is a growing issue, and we're struggling to, like everyone is, to deal with
In
it.
other words, you have some efforts on that already?
Yes, we do. We've been trying to do. We have an agent. We set it up. We have to encourage those who want help to get them some help. And so,
Suppose there are 75 of them, though. Do you have 75 roofs to put over their head?
we do not know. We do not have that many. And as I say, we're just starting. We're still starting. Like last weekend, I met with a homeless advocate. And I go, Ted, what can we do? What thing can I do as a city to, and he goes, it's not that simple. And this is a guy who voluntarily 20 years ago went homeless to help the advocacy for the homeless, and he couldn't tell me one thing that was simple to do. But one thing he did say is there's a homeless industry that is more interested in making money than they are solving the problem. And that's what, as Arcadia, we want to help who we can and help solve the problem.
And on cold weathers, do you have temporary relief? Well, right now it's very cold night.
Right. We do not have any shelters that we open up right
That's
now.
That's something we ought to do.
Yes, we should.
That's why we want to still vote you.
Okay.
We want to keep you there, continue work for another 4 years probably. That will take care of the problem. All right. My dear friends, every city has a problem, and I appreciate the fact that Peter does not get away from it. Well, yes, we do have the problem. I'm working on it. Give me time. Something like that, right? Very good. That's fair enough. My dear friend, we're a little over time, but I'm very happy I touched base with him, with this great man of Arcadia, Peter Amundson, council member of Arcadia, running to continue his service. For his 12 years of excellent service, he wants to continue from right there. So, my dear friends, I don't think this is the last show between me and Peter. However, we understand him a little more. I'll be, still talking about the election of Arcadia. So we'll see you next time.